We are clearly ready to go, and this is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and somebody gave me a lot of caffeine today. I didn't know I was going to get it, so beware. We're glad to be on the air, and thanks to MTP Software, we have a wonderful studio in Needham, Massachusetts. Natick, Massachusetts. I'll get it right one of these years. Our next guest, a frequenter to one of our Radio Entrepreneurs cafes, and I hope other people decide to come to the cafe as well. Tom Libby, CEO, Diversified Sales Solutions. Welcome, Tom.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, what is Diversified Sales Solutions, DSS?
Yeah, so we actually add the I, so DSSI, just because it sounds better for some reason. I don't know. Actually, don't know if it sounds better or not, but anyway.
But you do it, so.
Yeah, so we do it. So DSSI is a sales consultancy firm. We kind of like to say it's a sales consultancy firm on steroids because we will do and handle and manage everything that any other sales consultancy firm will do with an added bonus. We will actually hire, train, and maintain the sales force for you if you choose that it's a big too big of a job in order to do that.
I'm sorry to jump in so quickly.
Yeah.
When you hire and train, would they be still working for the employer or would they work through you?
Great question. So that's what I mean by a sales consultancy firm on steroids, which is we own the employee. So we'll W-2 them. We'll take care of all of the overhead costs, ancillary costs when it becomes, workers' comp.
No 1099 issues with the government.
Exactly right. But all of our employees are full-time salespeople that we dedicate to one client at a time. So there's no cross-pollination. It's not like a manufacturer's rep
contracted to you.
Correct. So it's not like a manufacturer's rep where they're selling a book of businesses and they have multiple product lines at their disposal. Mm-hmm. Our people are dedicated to one client at a time, so they sell specifically for that client. Everything about them looks like they work for that client. Their email addresses, their business cards, everything forward-facing says that they work for whatever client we assign them to.
But a great for small business that needs contract salespeople. And do you work across industries?
Yeah, so we're industry agnostic because, well, quite honestly, I don't need to be the one selling it. I'm finding salespeople to sell the product for the client. So if they're looking for somebody who has industry experience, then that's fine. I just go find somebody with that industry experience and put them in the field. So we are able to be industry agnostic because from a management structure, the management functionalities are all very similar. There might be a little bit of an adaptation here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward.
So you're also not only doing sales consulting, you're contract sales service.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Oh, that's great. So you can either just give them the people or manage them as well.
Absolutely right.
So I always call it the Wayback Machine because I watched Rocky and Bullwinkle as a kid and,
Sure.
and I'm a big fan. And let's get you in the Wayback Machine. Let's go to the beginning of your career. Let's get a sense of your sales background.
Sure. So actually, even before that, if you want to go to the way back machine, I actually started in restaurants. So I took 3.5 years of culinary school, decided I was going to be a chef. That didn't pan out.
You and my wife.
Well, it's not a really good industry to be in with a family, honestly. Unless you own your own restaurant, you can bring your kids to the restaurant. It doesn't work.
No, it's a tough life.
Yeah, so I spent way too much time. When I had my second son, I decided too many hours at work. I needed to do something that was...
When you and your significant other had a second son, right?
Sorry, yes. Good call. But yeah, so when our second son was born...
I don't know what kind of talents you got, but you're not doing it alone.
You are 100% right. If I were, I would not be sitting here right now.
Only Chris has that skill.
I'd be a very wealthy man. Anyway, so I had when we had the second son, I decided I just couldn't fragment my time for my kids like that anymore. So I looked for something that was a bit more conducive to a work-life balance, and I just kind of stumbled into sales by accident, to be quite honest with you. Started working for a company called Ricoh. Which is a photocopier.
Copy machine company.
Copy machine company. Everybody knows them as a copier machine company, but they're like a $50 billion a year company that have their hands.
Someone I played tennis with on the Cape who
everything.
used to sell Ricos.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I still favor them. Believe it or not, 20 years later, I still favor them. When I walk into a office and I see some other machine.
The training.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, I know you become corporate loyal.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, after Ricoh, I sold a couple other machines. I sold Konica Minolta. I've sold
Xerox.
Not ever Xerox, believe it or not, but Konica Minolta and Canon. Okay. So I've sold a few others, but
You stayed in Asia.
Yeah, exactly. But I also stayed, for whatever reason, loyal to Rico. It was weird. To your point, though, their training was so good that it's hard to deconstruct it in your mind.
I know that
So,
those old training programs really create corporate loyalty.
yeah, very much so. So I went from copiers to commercial printing, which I thought was kind of an easy slide.
Sure.
You're talking about dots per inch, and then you're talking about dots per inch.
Right.
So it seems like a very easy slide. What was a far stretch is I went from commercial printing to healthcare.
But what you didn't say, which I heard, is that at Rico you went through an extensive sales training program.
Yes. Yeah. Good call.
Right, because
good
those
catch.
copier companies were known as companies that really did heavy duty in those days sales training.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's not even just in the sales training. The best part of it was when in Rico I went from being a new person not knowing anything to within a year and a half being considered for management, and then within the 2 years I was a sales manager of 14 reps.
Right.
And which I felt was very quick, but not only their sales training but their management training was exceptional.
So those companies had great training.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about, okay, so you're gonna manhandle these people. It was real leadership. Like they really taught you how
They taught
you how
It was
people.
school.
Yeah. People were individuals. Treated them like individuals. It's kind of like parenting, right? You cannot treat each one of your kids the same way.
No.
You cannot treat each one of your
I
employees
don't
the same
treat
way.
Chris and Nathan the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
I treat Chris with kit gloves, and I treat Nathan with punching gloves.
I don't know which is better.
I'm not going to comment on that.
I told you got me on a bad morning.
No,
Good
this is a
morning.
good one. This is a good one for me. Good morning. I like this. But the training was exceptional, and I thought the training was exceptional from every level, from every standard, not just the entry.
Right.
Because a lot of people I felt did a good job with initial training, and then the onboarding basically stopped when the initial training was complete, and they didn't go further. So I which is really kind of to circle back, why we employ some of the methodologies that we do when we train our salespeople. We never just let them go it alone. Like we really feel like you have to have a support system 100% of the time, not 10%, not 50%, 100% of the time. So we make ourselves available. We actually have a communication protocol now. Like whether it's text messaging, email, phone call, whatever that communication method is, there's actually a protocol in place for it. So the salesperson knows exactly what to expect from us. There's no surprises on how we're going to interact, how quickly we're going to respond, how like none of that is a surprise. So we make it very crystal clear to that.
So, I go back to the old Rico days, and I think I know what you're talking about. Something has been developed since the Rico days, and that's the CRM industry has taken over sales management. So I would assume that you may have your own CRM that you've purchased and also the client CRM, and you have to move around depending on the situation.
Yeah, and the
Because
funny,
we're sitting in the middle of a CRM company right now. I don't know if you know that.
I did not know that MTP is a CRM.
MTP Software is a CRM company.
No, I did not know that. So they're probably going to be.
In the sports industry, and you don't look athletic, so don't worry.
Oh wow! Let's see that.
Didn't see that coming,
and
huh?
that's on video, so I can't really say it. No, I actually played 10 years.
We're
of
going to airbrush you. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Make me look about 10 years younger because I retired from semi-pro football about 7 years ago, actually. I played for 10 years.
You play in the midget professional league?
No. Our left tackle was 6'8" and almost 360 pounds. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay, I shouldn't have used that word to start my thing. I apologize. I know political correctness.
Oh yeah.
Did you really play
be
professional
careful.
football?
Semi-pro here in New England. Yeah, I did for
good for you.
10 years.
Good for
I was a
you.
running back for 5 and then a defensive back for 5.
So you've really been around. You understand leadership. You understand sales. You understand sales training.
I do, and I understand that it's never cookie cutter ever. Like, and that, which to me is probably the biggest thing that I would employ to anybody listening is if you're going to try to lead anybody, it doesn't have to be salespeople, lead anybody at all. Just understand and know that there's no such thing as a cookie cutter leadership program.
Will you come back here and talk about different aspects of sales for us?
Of course, yeah, of course I would.
Because we run a lot of time, and it's I wasted most of your time goofing around being immature, so I apologize.
No worries.
So that's why Chris has the earphones on, so you can't hear me. If somebody were looking for you, and I want to remind everybody, we are speaking to Tom Libby, CEO, Diversified Sales Solutions. I haven't said this before, but I know because he went through the RICO program, the sales, the sports program, that he knows what he's talking about. And so I do think he can help him. And I'm going to talk to him online about some stuff that I'm working on. But so, Tom, if somebody else is looking for you, how would they find you?
So you can definitely find us online. Our website is easily printable, diversifiedsalessolutions.com. I know it sounds long, but it's literally our name.com because most of the other things weren't available. All of the abbreviated versions were already taken, so we couldn't get them. So
I want you to come back.
I would love to. I would love
Great.
to.
Well, thanks for being here today again. And
Thank you.
Speaking again, third time, Tom Libby, CEO, Diversified Sales Solutions. This is Jeffrey Davis from Age LLC. I host the Radio Entrepreneurs. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more stories after this short break.